David Pina, Katuitt, Massachusetts. Main Street Hyannis. Growing up at Main Street Hyannis, where all the good people always treated you good. They all called you by your first name. A lot of respect. We had a lot of respect from the Penns, the Melchmans, the Bermans, and so on. And the Myers family, they were all good people to us. In Osterville, we had the community center, which we don't have today, but it was one of the best places to go growing up because we could play basketball in Osterville. But then we came to Hyannis at grade 7. And the 7th grade, there was a lot of good things. We had a lot of dances in town, all put on by the JCs or the local, what you call the club? It was the Kiwanis Club. And those things were great for us. And if we didn't have those things, we would probably always been in trouble, but there was always something to do on a Friday night. It was a football something or school-related function going on. I went to the high school on High School Road, and I graduated from the new high school on West Main Street. I didn't change until my junior year, so it wasn't that bad. We just went over there for 1 year, and before you knew it, school was out. 1959. I had a lot of friends. I didn't have any enemies when I went to high school. There wasn't such a thing as having enemies. Everybody in high school, everybody was your friend. The kids, the boys, the girls, they were great, always good to me. Some of my best friends were guys like, they're older than me. There was Franny Firmino, Donnie Manny, one of the deceased friends, Wayne Glover, was good to me. George Maddox, probably one of my good friends, because I used to drive him around to all his boxing matches. And that's one of the good things I liked. My favorite teacher was probably Mr. McSwan. And Bill Naylor. Bill Naylor was tough, but after I kind of like knew him better, I kind of got to like him. But Mr. McSwan always treated me good because I worked a lot with the athletic department in high school, worked with the football program, and whatever he was on, I always seemed there to be there to help Mr. McSwan. I didn't have any favorites there. Science, Mr. Vent, him and I didn't get along, but he was a good man, good teacher. And English teacher was Mr. McSwan. I was on the soccer team. I was a soccer team when it first started in Barnstable High School, the first soccer team. I was on the basketball team, JVs, and I played 2 years in the varsity program. And that was it. I didn't play baseball in high school. My first job in the town of Barnstable was probably working at Jack and Harry's on Main Street between Puritan Clothing and the drugstore, which was owned by Mr. Van Buskirk, Gordon Van Buskirk. Well, they were good. I was lucky to have a job as a 14-year-old kid. My favorite season is September, October, and November.
Why is that?
I like it because it's cooler. You get up in the morning, every day is nice and cool, and then it warms up, and then it goes cooler again. It's not too hot, it's not too rainy. It's just a beautiful time of the year. Well, Barnstable's a nice place to live. If you look at it on a map, I mean, where else would you want to go beside the town of Barnstable? We have just about everything here. And Barnstable has grown a lot, and I think some of the changes have been the way the community has done a lot of things. And it makes it that much better for all of us. I have 2 boys, but I wish they stayed in Barnstable, but they both live in Mashpee.
Marriage too.
My oldest son, David, works for me, and my youngest son, Parrish, he's the assistant at the Brookside Golf Course in Bourne. Parrish was a good little boy growing up. He loved all sports. He liked baseball, and he liked football. And then one day he said, "Dad, can I try golf?" And I said, "Go ahead." And golf is where he really excelled at, was in golf. He did really well in college. He did 4 years in Florida, and he did 2 years at UMass Stockbridge, and graduated from both schools. Kathy is from California. I married her in 1970. She tried to get me to go to California, and I says, "No, I like town of Barnstable better because there's a lot of respect and people knew who I was." And I said, "Kath, we're coming to Massachusetts. We're staying in Cape Cod, and I'm staying in the town of Barnstable as long as I can." And she kind of like didn't want to do that at first. And then I says, "Kath, you'll love it here. You'll love it." And she decided, as time went on, she began to love Barnstable, and then she got appointed to the Park and Rec. I forgot what year it is, but I think she's been on that Park and Rec almost 40 years. We've been married 43, so it's close to it. And she's done a really good job. Otherwise, she still wouldn't be there. In 1951, I think it was, when I went to grade 7 in Hyannis, that's when I really got to know my dad better. Because when I came to Hyannis, the high school, he would always go to the Gordon Van Buskers for breakfast because he worked at Myers Furniture. And I'd go there every morning with him before I'd go to the high school, because we didn't have to start school back then until 8. So I'd go there like 7 in the morning with him, then I'd walk across to the high school. And I began to see all the respect that he was getting from all these people in town, the Penns, the Bermans, and other people. And I says, "Gee, this guy's well liked in the town." Then the next thing I saw him, he ran for Park and Rec, and he became the first elected black official in the town, and I was so proud of that. And I said, "Geez, this guy's well liked," and everybody just kept, every time he'd go, "How you doing, Ed?" And Ed was, next thing I know, my father's coaching Babe Ruth League in the town for Puritan Clothing. And next thing you know, he's coaching a town team. He mortgaged his house for the kids in the town to play the semi-pro basketball, him and Curly Clements. And I said, "Well, what a wonderful guy." I was really impressed with what my dad did. And I kind of like tried to stay within his footsteps as I went along. And that's what's put me where I'm at today, I think. I got out of the military. I came and I worked at Otis Air Force Base, and then I was offered a good job at the jail. And my dad had a back problem, so he said to me, he says, "I can't drive a school bus." He just bought a school bus. And I said, "Well, I'll help you." So I helped him one day. Then before you knew it, I'm helping him every day. And the next thing you know, I said, "Dad, I cannot drive buses at night and days and stuff like that because I work at the jail, because I work midnight to 8. And I said, "Well, if we're going to go into business, then we're going to have to do it my way," and which it worked out great. It was through him that a lot of things started, because he had the connections. But as we went along, they started to come, towards me a lot, because I made a lot of the connections. I'm actually the one that really got the buses to go as big as we are today, and the rubbish and everything. And now it's my son David that takes over all the rubbish and garbage in the town, and I just do the buses, and I help him. Oh, we had the gas station on Barnstable, West Barnstable Road. We had a bottle gas company at the same time. So we were running like 4 or 5 businesses, and I don't know how my father could do it, but he'd get up every morning, and I'd get up and go do the same thing. Golf. I go golfing as much as I can. And my wife's a golf widow pretty much. Because every time I say I'm going golfing, she'll say, "Get out of here." But it's funny, I enjoy golfing. I golf a lot with my 2 sons. And that's where I'm having so much fun. Because it's the relationship I have with the kids. The day JFK gave his inaugural speech, and I was standing on that stone out in front of the street, and I could see him from across to the Armory when he came out the door. I had probably the best seat in the house because I was on top of the rock. Oh, that made the town and the Kennedys, and everybody started coming to Cape Cod more in the summer than that. No, we don't have too many. I don't think we'll ever have too many. It'll always be nice. And I don't know, the changes I'd like to see is some of the kids in town to try to get more respect for themselves and not always be fighting amongst each other, and try to live within this town, because this is a great place to grow up. You cannot find a better town than the town of Barnstable. If it was a better town someplace else, I probably would have gone there myself. But every time I do a bus trip, I cannot wait to get back to Barnstable or to Cape Cod. It's in your blood, it's in your system, it's the sand, everything is into you. It's so great to be here. David Pina, Katuitt, Mass.